Hey guys, welcome back. It is July 18th, Friday. Hope you had a good week in the market. I'm going to review the 0-day options today. I traded on SPY and this small account challenge and all my lines. Thanks for being here. Fridays historically are very bad for me, and I actually got confirmation. Today I spent most of the day while I was waiting for trades to set up messing with Copilot. Microsoft default AI. I don't know why I haven't messed with AI more. I've used it a little bit here and there, but I really went crazy with it today. Having it basically, I imported all my trades, had it analyze them, had it basically broke down everything. Kind of what I've been trying to do with like Trading Journal. And there's not a good Trading Journal for options. They're all pretty much set up for shares. So this was able to track everything, tell me when I'm trading best, when it's the worst, my performance. You can even upload, say, like this chart and say, what strategy is this? Where are the entries and exits? Where's liquidity? I mean, you can get crazy with it. And I kind of knew it. I just haven't, for some reason, haven't dove into it. And I got pretty heavy into it today. And I feel like this weekend I'm going to be going a little crazy. And then it's also nice because I can, while I'm doing stuff on the computer, I can be talking to it if I'm just looking for answers that way. But as far as like deeper dive, and you literally could just find strategies from AI and just follow them. And if you just have good risk management and stick to it, you don't need anything fancy for trading. I'm not going to deviate from what I'm working on now, but yeah, if I didn't have this already, I would probably just, yeah, it's crazy. Anyways, I'm gonna go over what we did today, and I'm gonna show you, well, real quick. I figured out from trades just from this year, which are my worst days. I figured it was Friday, and what time of day was the worst. And I figured it was probably the middle of the day, but I just didn't have this data, and I just figured it out real quick with Copilot here. And what's crazy is I then asked if I didn't trade Fridays or in the middle of the day, you know, these certain hours, would my P&L be different? And it's like crazy. So yeah, here's the difference. Original P&L negative 260 is just today, and this is just this year, and this is just on the small account. Removed Friday trades, $450 loss avoided. Removed 1145 to 115 trades, $880 loss avoided. Adjusted net P&L would be positive 370. So yeah, the adjusted outcome isn't just a better result, it's a different trading identity. Yeah, it's pretty sick what you can do with that, and I think it'll definitely help. I'm going to try not to get too involved with just relying on it for whatever. I'm going to try and stick with this strategy, but helping me analyze even what this strategy is, because Eric SPY day trading doesn't like explain a whole lot, and so I'm actually importing messages from the Discord into Copilot, into the AI, and trying to have it kind of decipher it and explain it to me. And it's actually done a great job so far. I was doing that some today, just like trying to consolidate the strategy and what it even means, and if you're kind of reverse engineering someone's brain. And yeah, anyways, we'll get all that. So today, yeah, Friday, 30-minute chart. This is Eric's 30-minute chart. Did we gap up? Yeah, we gapped up and kind of sold off. We're in this green channel though, but broke out of it pretty quickly. We have liquidity down here that we started to grab and then just decided to kill all options above it and below it into the Friday close, which is typical. But we did actually break out of this channel right here. Didn't quite make 5-day moving average. Maybe a gap down on Friday or on Monday. We'll see. I kind of presumed a gap up on today, which did end up happening. I'm not going to start trading those presumptions, though. I'm just kind of tracking it a little bit to maybe grab a couple overnight plays. But yeah, the gap up presumption was because we broke this larger green wedge, and then yeah, never just kept melting up. So I don't know, maybe that was the wrong assumption. Anyways, today, yeah, I was a little distracted with Copilot. Copilot's just the factory Microsoft. There's all sorts of different AIs you can use out there. I'm running Windows, so it was already on here, and it's pretty sick. I can upload screenshots. I can have it just look at my screen, which is super creepy, but I guess my screen's being looked at anyways. I don't know. And then I can just point to stuff or talk about stuff that's on the screen and say, what's that and why is that doing that? I think I was doing that a little bit today, to really get into like documents and that kind of more technical stuff. You can't do the voice. That's got to be with chat, I guess. But yeah, it basically told me I'm a crazy person because I have so many lines on my chart and I should stop trading altogether. No, I actually asked it. I was like, is this sustainable, my trading? And it said, no. It's like, okay, thanks. And then I had it narrow it down for the last like 6 months, and it's like, it's yeah, I got to tighten it up. So I think I have been. I think I've been doing better. But actually, with the AI, at least with Copilot, you've got to kind of train it a little bit because it wants to just sugarcoat everything. It was telling me stuff. I'm like, I don't think I'm green for that month or that, and I was putting in data like my chat hit or my trade history. And it's like, oh yeah, let me look deeper. Oh, sure enough, you weren't. I'm like, what? What the heck? Why'd you tell me I was and then I wasn't? So you gotta just double check on stuff and have it not be polite with you because it might be trying to, yeah. Anyways, pretty grindy morning. There was one little setup here that I didn't take, which I'm fine with. It was just such a tight range, but we have magenta here, white potentially building liquidity, gold. Made this little inverse cup. This candle is crazy, volume out of nowhere, but you have a nice shoulder. There's your head. Grab that shoulder on a break of this gold. And there's your first trade. I think Emperor got that trade. I didn't. Yeah, here's Emperor's chart. He's on SPY Day Trading's Discord too. Or no, that's not the trade. That's it. He's better than me. He's more experienced. So yeah, he got that one, and then he got this one. He didn't trade very much. I got this one. And he did this last little one in a day. I didn't do that one. Yeah, didn't trade much today, so I'm very grateful for that. But yeah, so that happened, and then I'm just looking for basically liquidity to be built with gold and ahead, potentially, like retrace ahead. And yeah, so we didn't really get a big retrace. We did get a little bit one here, and then it broke, and then it kind of broke gold, and this was just a false break. It didn't have volume. The retrace was small, so you got to be careful with that one. And I'm trying not to trade breakouts if I can avoid it. I'd rather trade on a retrace of the breakout or of a head. However, the head, it's hard to tell, especially in the middle of the day, which is a bad time for me to trade. So yeah, it turned into just nasty consolidation or liquidity, good liquidity, however you want to look at it. This white channel kept kind of breaking down, but not volume, not continuation, not good structure. So this was a nice shoulder built. Then it broke white here, which I'm not sure when I had that in, but broke white. I think I took, yeah, so I did take first trade on the small account. We'll review small account. Here it is, quite green on the day, actually, on a Friday. What do you know? You can take a look at that. Yeah, there's P&L. Plus 32 today, which is like a 30% account increase. Or portfolio increase. So 1141. I got one put for 29 cents. So this was basically what I was just saying. We've got a shoulder, all this liquidity, it rallied up. It broke this red resistance. However, to me, it's still bearish as long as we're below this liquidity up here. So you don't know how high it's going to retrace. It can come to VWAP, it can come all the way up to here potentially. If it comes too far into here, I'm not going to believe it. But when it came here, and then this was basically a test on it breaking this first steepest white channel. So this is kind of trying to catch ahead and being a little aggressive. And I'm gonna hopefully get a breakdown of this using Copilot, more in depth on when I take these trades, how often does it work, you know, that kind of data. I need that. It's hard to track and I don't have it. Anyways, took it here, and let's see, 1141. Oh, I actually didn't take it there. I got a late entry on it. Yeah, I had a late decision to take it. I got it on this green candle right here. I'm trying to get a green entry. Closed it on that green candle there. So it broke the red. I'm like, I'm out. Grab that liquidity. And so that was a small loss though. I picked a lower delta, so it decayed less, I think. It's kind of, if it's closer to the money, they fluctuate more. Once it gets below a certain premium, I've noticed it, like each cent decay is a greater percentage, but they don't almost decay as much, if you know what I mean, if that makes sense. Yeah. Anyways, the Greeks, I don't speak Greek, so I'm kind of English guy. And then it came up and rejected VWAP. Nice little liquidity here. Grabbed this shoulder nicely. I'm not sure if I caught it there. No, at this point I was waiting for it to break this gold. And so that's what I did. But yeah, you could have done an early front run on one of these. I don't think I did. Yeah, I didn't. So it did have some speed on these candles and a little bit more volume. Let me see if I can. Oh, is that not showing? Let me do that. There we go. There we go. A little bit more volume. So I almost jumped into it on there. I'm like, you know what? When it's in a wedge like this, that very well could do that and bounce, which it did. It didn't bounce big, but it wasn't ready to break through. So grabbed that little shoulder there and then had this big shoulder and built more liquidity on that gold, and I got it. Next one right here on this green candle. So I thought about just taking the break, but again, breakouts, I'm like, I want to take a retrace. I might take more breaks as I get more confident with my lines, especially because I could have taken it on that break. You can see volume increase there too. But yeah, it was a pretty clean break. And yeah, then the next candle, of course, was large. I got in, I mean, my price was worse, but it wasn't too much worse because it was on this green candle. I can't remember if it'd come down and then up or when, but I got a pretty good entry on this green candle. I also had this green line. This is part of the reason for the precision. I had this green line like here. So that was kind of also why I was getting it on a retest of the green, even though it did break it right here, but then kind of got back into it there. And maybe my green line was too steep, I'm not sure. So yeah, anyways, got it there. My stop, realistically, it'd be if it came up and grabbed this. So I think I put an alert, audible, one of these up here. So it's kind of a wide stop, but not necessarily. If I'm going for, I was actually going for 5-day, but since I only have one contract, so this one I got closer to the money. After looking at Copilot, I want to trade higher than 25-cent premiums and more than, it said 40 delta. I do better in, but anyways, I got this one at this contract was 56 cents, so it was the one the closest to the money that was just out of the money. So basically at the money, you'd call it. The next one out of the money was like 20 something cents, and to use the rest of my balance on the day, I would have gotten 2 of them, which would have been fine. I could have, but I thought, yeah, I'll just get closer to the money since that's what the data seems like it's showing that I do better on. On this particular trade, I did look at it, and if I got one further out of the money, it would have gone from like 60 something percent to like 70, so it would have been 10% more potentially. But yeah, you can't always claim that. So these candles got pretty crazy in here. A lot of the volume, and it just got gnarly. And I actually market ordered on the sell. Market ordered, which helped me. I wasn't trying to get a limit. Got a pretty good exit. It was definitely on the good candle, but the contracts went like $10 more. 12.22 I got in at 12.26, very short. And that's kind of what you need for 0 day. Like you're just trying to catch, like even catching the top, it's not necessarily that good always. If it's like a grindy day and you're catching a top, it just grinds for a while and then drops. Sometimes even if it's going in your favor, you're better off to just wait for the volume to pick up and for that move and just to catch that. I don't know why I've become a scalper, but I think it's been kind of forced a little bit since I'm doing a small account and I can't manage having a big drawdown. And since I'm not doing spreads or futures, once the account's larger, I'll probably start incorporating futures maybe in the middle of the day when it's just kind of grinding. Because then I'm like, okay, I'm trying to get the very tops, very bottoms, and it's fine if it just chops because there's no decay. Or if I did spreads, but do spreads, I have to do margin. To do margin, I need 25K in that account, and I'm not doing that stuff. So for now, cash, single options, or single leg, naked options, long only. 29, so let's see, 26. Yeah, 26.45. So on that candle, closed it. I was pumped. It also retested the bottom of this white, which was drawn with these 3 supports, I believe, originally, or maybe even up here, duplicated here, and then I had one extra one for that wick down there, and it actually tested that almost to the penny. Yeah, very close. So that was why I closed it. Even though I wanted 5-day, if I had one more contract, I would have held, and hopefully I would have closed it by that green candle, which would have been a worse exit. So 56 cents, 91 cents, pumped on that. I did a couple on the big account after that, being a Friday. Of course, they didn't work, and we ended up just grinding into the close. I didn't do too many, though. Oh yeah, this one was a green one, so that's nice. About break even on this. And actually, yeah, I won't even talk about that. But anyways, 1:45 p.m. puts. So this was just trying to capture that down again, 145. So came up, retested this white, which I didn't have a whole lot of conviction. Well, I guess it was from here. Made a little shoulder here, made a head, grabbed that shoulder, and I got on that next candle. My entries are late. They're just, I'm still hesitant. So anyways, got on that candle. And so at this point, this could be the beginning of another leg down to the 5-day, or it could just be a retracement, zone of mutual interest, whatever you want to call it. It's in a wedge. It's kind of a front run to anticipate the break of the wedge. But if it doesn't break it, try and have the right direction so it can still be a green trade, which is exactly what we did there, thankfully. 410 to 520, so it's not bad, even though it was not a breakout and it was basically a failed, not a failed trade, but it didn't work. 1145 to 1147. It was still green. And if I imagine I got it here when it just broke the white, which I didn't want to do because it happened up here, but that's the recency effect, which we don't want to do. But if I even got on this candle, it might have been a little bit better. 47, so right here is where I closed it. I closed one. Reason for that is this gold support in case it's not gonna break through. The lack of volume kind of made me think it might not. You know, we didn't have bigger volume spikes triggering or signifying triggering stops or something like that. So closed one and then closed another. That's why I closed the second one actually. I would have liked to leave 2 runners, but I closed the next one also for that reason. And that was the next minute, and then I just put the last one to break even as a runner. So that one broke even. Nice little gainer on that actually, even though it was again kind of a wrong trade and I was kind of late on it. Stop on that? I'm not sure my stop would have been. I guess if it came up and grabbed here. So that's kind of what I was thinking on these, is if it comes up back up and grab that liquidity where it kind of exited from. So that ideally would have been entry right here. But yeah. Next trade, not so nice. 280 to 245, full in, full out. 213 to 217. Is that 213? Oh, I'm so glad I didn't trade in today. This is so trappy. Whew, protected capital, thank you. 213. Wait a minute. I'm confused. Military. 14, 13. Okay. Okay, so this one did break the gold. I thought I was just making a little mini head and shoulders. Got a head, a shoulder, shoulder. Mini, retesting the top. Breaking the gold. I got on the green on the retrace right there. I don't know if you can see that if you're looking at this on mobile. I'm sorry. That retrace right there. Got the put. It did kind of flash down and it was green momentarily. I didn't get that though. I held until this candle. So yeah, I guess that was kind of an early stop out. I guess because it wasn't still in the green. Yeah, that was kind of my main thing, was it's not selling the green. Volume, not exactly. I suppose it could have come up here and resist this some more and then come down. I didn't like it anymore. And I guess my intuition was right. Or I just got lucky. Oh yeah, that's why. So this other blue line, I hadn't charted this yet, but Eric and Emperor both charted this, but I just didn't put it in mine because I hadn't seen it yet, and I'm not trying to cheat. If that makes sense, yeah, because if I draw it from what I see, it just helps with confidence and conviction and all that. So they had this blue line here, which I hadn't drawn yet, and so once it came down and that wick hit that, I was like, okay, it's, you know, that was another reason why I closed that there. If I had not seen this line down here, I may would have said, okay, it's going to retest and then flush. But the lack of volume also was kind of an indicator that this break right here was not that significant. So for those reasons, I got out, and I didn't have any more trades. I'm stoked. I'm hopeful that using Copilot and all this can help potentially. Thank you guys for your support. I mean, there's like, when you're looking at it, if you're looking on a 5 minute, there's a clear head and shoulder with liquidity grab, and this is the trade right here, and I caught it, so I'm stoked. And I didn't catch really anything else. I did one small stop in here, which is fine, and then yeah. So basically one obvious trade today, and I'm trying to take the big obvious ones. Sure, some in here, and I mean maybe some in here, but yeah, if you're selling premium, trading futures, that's a different game. This is just long 0 day single leg. Yeah, have a good weekend, guys. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy money sticks around. I highly recommend, if you want to trade professionally or seriously, don't want to gamble, do look into AI and get on I don't know, get on Eric's Discord. At least watch his videos. even if you don't do a strategy, it's a good community for to take it serious. Basically, you want to just kind of hit it big, you're gonna lose it eventually, and that's where I'm at. That's my story. Thanks, guys. See you on Monday. Peace out.